Welcome back to the Organizational Excellence Podcast. This is Kevin Johnson of Leverage Consulting, and today we're talking about Gigo, garbage in and garbage out. Clients of mine tend to spend thousands of dollars, make that tens of thousands of dollars in computer systems to make their lives less stressful, get good data, and run their practices or their businesses much more efficiently. One thing that I have come to find over time is often we don't know where to find good reports. We don't even know if we're looking at good reports. Again, going back to the numbers, when I walk into an office, many times they have spent upwards of $15,000 or more just on the hardware itself. When you think about $8,000 plus for a server, you think about the slave computers that are set up in the office and related hardware and things like that, very easily adds up to $15,000. And then that really fancy software that we buy at the trade show that's supposed to make our lives so easy usually costs about $20,000 to $50,000. So you're talking about a $35,000 to $65,000 investment to make our lives easier, to give us great data. But here's the thing, folks. Computers are stupid. Why are they stupid? Because sometimes we put bad data into those computers. And with bad data, we get bad reports, hence garbage in, garbage out. So here's a few things to think about when we're looking at reports. First, we need to know what we're even looking for. Sometimes we have to make sure we have absolute clarity on what exactly we're looking for, knowing it well enough that we can see when it's the wrong information or report. We also know whether the report is giving us the right data or not. We can run a report that says it gives us the right data. However, sometimes based on what we're looking for, there's certain reports in there that look so similar, and they give us vastly different information. And then we need to, as either a leader, a manager, or someone who's responsible for a given area of a practice, we need to be relentless in our pursuit for great data. Because quite honestly, if someone within our business or our practice starts entering data incorrectly, that should be a big red flag that we're getting bad data. We're going to see something that's skewed. So I'm going to give you a little example of what I'm talking about. In working with a client recently, we were going through trying to figure out how many of their patients needed to be scheduled for an appointment. The more we talked about it, they kept saying, well, we have about 200 people. We have about 200 people that need appointments, which in the grand scheme of things sounds actually like a very small, manageable number given the volume of patients that many practices have. 200 patients, okay, fine. You know, you're always going to have some level of people that just aren't going to be on your schedule. They've fallen off for whatever reason. They no-showed, they canceled, whatever. So with that said, we went back in, and just the clarity of looking at patients who are overdue versus unscheduled made quite the difference. And again, I go back to my points of, do I really know what I'm looking for, and am I really getting the data I'm looking for? So in this instance, the overdue patients were totaling about 200. But when we started looking at a different report that showed us the patients that were unscheduled, we were looking at well over 1,000. I believe it was actually about 1,200 that were unscheduled. So when the team thought, okay, we're doing a decent job and we're having a tough time and we just keep hammering the same 200 people, we ran a different report, and really there was a gap of 1,000 patients that needed appointments. That's just a really, really great example of one small thing, and knowing the data that we're looking for, knowing whether we're getting the right information or not, and then quite honestly being able to capitalize on the data and being able to do something with it will be impactful and make a huge difference to the practice. So there's your Organizational Excellence Podcast for today. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next Organizational Excellence Podcast.